I just want to start by asking you, how would you assess the health of Emirati football at the moment?
Well, we are now living the worst situation in football, to be honest. I have been involved with Emirati football since 1990. I started when we qualified to the World Cup in Italy as a general secretary, and then gradually until I became the president of UAE Football Federation for 2 terms. Um, I haven't experienced or I haven't seen the standard of football this bad as a national team, as youth teams, national youth teams, as clubs. Of course, because the result of the national team comes from the club's standard. So I think this is the worst football standard in UAE since I've known football, UAE football.
From my point of view, when I look at the Emirates at the moment, and I've followed it closely over the last few years, if you go back to 2015, they made the semi final of the Asian Cup here in Australia, and many people expected them to kick on and become the next big thing in Asian football, to join the elite nations of Australia, Japan, South Korea, etc., etc. It hasn't happened that way. And now when I look at the UAE, to me, they look like a national team and a federation that lacks any kind of direction, lacks any kind of leadership and vision. And I compare and contrast it to Saudi Arabia, who are on an upward trend at the moment. And we know it can be very cyclical, but they're on an upward trend. They've been getting good results at youth levels. Their senior teams have been getting good results. There seems to be a vision, and some leadership for what they want their football to be, and I see that that's lacking in the UAE. Do you see it the same way? Obviously, you're much closer than what I am, living in the country. Have been intimately involved. Does it seem the same way to you, that it lacks some leadership and some vision right from the very top?
You know, you said it much better than I would have said it. And like you really summarized it. But I'll tell you, when we became to the level in 2015, there was a goal. We set a goal that UAE national team, we want to be among the first three national teams in Asia. And to reach to that goal, we had a plan. Start from youth, build our national teams from under 16, and continue for the youth teams until we reach the Olympic team. We won Asian. We became Asian champion for under 19. We qualified for London Olympics. So there was
Mm-hmm.
like an indication that team was going or growing up and getting better and better until we won the Gulf Cup in Bahrain. We participated with the same team, the Olympic team that was in London, had it play in Bahrain for the Gulf Cup against first teams of the rest of the Gulf countries, and we were able to win the championship. And then by the time we made it to Australia, the team was at its peak, but some players at that time needed to be replaced, especially
Mm-hmm.
the defenders. Our defense players were 34 years old, and they needed to be replaced. 2016, I left the federation and I had a plan to rebuild the first team with some young players. Um I had a meeting with our coach, Mahdi Ali, if you recall the name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We agreed to a plan how to have our team ready for 2019 Asian Cup. Uh, Unfortunately, I left the federation of that year, 2016. The new federation that came after me, they started they wanted to start from zero again. They didn't want to finish
Mm-hmm.
at the level where we were. So they continued with the same players, thinking that they will still win and win championships in the Gulf area. They did not work on the goal to get the team ready for Asian Cup 2019. And unfortunately, majority of the members of that federation, they were from the second division. They lacked experience. And then 4 years later, they were replaced in the election 4 years later with new members, totally new members, and also majority of them does not have experience, unfortunately, including the president of the FA, a promising
Mm-hmm.
young man, but still does not have the experience needed. Some members with him that are experienced to support him, and this is
Yep.
exactly why we lack the experience and the leadership. And also, the team was not supported by young players until a few months ago, um, and they don't have the experience now. They still need some
Mm.
time with proper preparation, with proper friendly matches, more participation in official games. They will take time. Our media does not have the patience for time. Um, they started attacking the federation now, and there is a rumor that the federation again might get replaced. So this instability of replacing leadership also is a negative side. It does not really support
Mm.
the improvement of the football.
No, of course, because every time a new leadership comes in, they're bringing their own plans and their own vision, and as you said, it starts from zero again every time. So what does Emirati football need to get back on track? Who do they need to get back on track? Does it kind of need some overarching vision from the government, and not that you necessarily want government interference, but someone that can set a vision, a national vision for football, that regardless of who is in charge of the federation, that they're all sort of then working to that continued common goal and not starting from scratch every time someone new comes into the chair.
Um, in the Gulf countries, governments they do interfere. They do interfere to a limit because they are the
Mm.
ones who are granting the financial support for the
Yeah.
federation.
Yeah, the
Our
paymaster,
government
effectively.
here,
Yeah.
I have experienced working with the government in UAE. They don't really technically interfere. They might sometimes have influence on who might win the election to become the president, and in some cases also members. But once they are elected, they don't really interfere in their work. Unfortunately, the ones who are interfering is what we call here, let me try to find the proper term for it. It's the In Dubai, for example, we have Dubai Sport Council. Yeah, and in Abu Dhabi, we have Abu Dhabi Sports Council. In Sharjah, we have Sharjah Sports Council, and they do interfere. They don't interfere directly, but they influence. They have the influence over the federation, and this does not really help because interference from outside affects negatively the work. The government has to correct this. They don't they should not interfere in the federation, but they should interfere where their those councils do not interfere in the federation. Then any federation then will work freely, not under any kind of influence that does not support them to gradually improve the standard of football. I keep telling my friends here, I don't have any official position where I will speak to any officials, but I keep telling my friends, regardless who becomes the president of the football, if the new president, is a strong personality, the councils will work against him, not support him. If not a strong personality, they will interfere and influence on his work. Okay, they will support him, but still support him negatively. As long as this goes on, I don't think we will improve.